I think you should, and we all should understand, tragedies like this, viruses like this, pandemics like this don't go by legislative time or governmental time. Maybe you remember the first press conference by Governor Andrew Cuomo. I do. He stepped up to the podium and he said, "Don't worry about any pandemic. New York State is prepared. We're going to deal with it. What you have to worry about is an unreasonable fear of a virus because we're ready, New York." Well, he was wrong on both counts. We should have feared what was coming forth, and we were not fully prepared. But above and beyond that, what we were not fully prepared for is his failure to mitigate the deaths, 80,000 or more, in the 15,000 of our most vulnerable populations through many of his actions that took place. It's been 4 years, and what's unconscionable, and it has been mentioned, there has been no review, no independence, no outside resources who have actually taken a look at the mistakes, the missteps, the things we did right. So the next time, without the legislative timetable preparing us or the governmental timetable preparing us, we're ready to battle this in a realistic way. Now, the governor had a whole bunch of enablers across the way here. In 2020, after he put forth with Commissioner Zucker something a fourth grader would have known enough not to do, put a serious contagious COVID disease into nursing homes via the argument that those seniors who have it shouldn't be discriminated against. They can't be in hospitals right now. We've got to place them in the nursing homes. You have to accept that. You know who was discriminated against? The families and their loved ones who have spoken today. Those were the individuals who were discriminated against, our seniors, vulnerable. When these individuals went into those nursing homes and spread that disease, they got very sick. Who came? The ambulance. They took them out, they put them in an ambulance, they took them to the hospitals, and yes, many of them died in hospitals. And then the governor lied about it. Well, not completely lied, but distorted the truth. These were all hospital deaths. There was 2 to 3 hospital deaths in nursing homes. He's kind of right, but absolutely wrong. When those individuals were taken out of those nursing homes, if they had died on the sidewalk on the way to the ambulance, would we have called them a sidewalk death? If they died in the ambulance on the way to the hospitals, will we call them a hospital death? Because they died in the hospitals, were they just a hospital death? The sidewalk didn't cause it. The ambulance didn't cause it. The hospitals didn't cause it. It was putting those individuals into nursing homes, but basically healthy individuals, compromised in certain ways, with people who had a very contagious disease. It wasn't their fault. The governor mandated it. This is Bill 2419. The only bill, the only legislative review, the only proposal for an outside, independent, bipartisan investigation and evaluation what actually took place during the whole course of this COVID virus in battling it. It was sponsored by Assemblyman Ron Kim for 3 years. Now, he didn't put the bill in this year, but I'm wondering, and I'd like some people to ask him, is it all over? You've got the answers already? I appreciate that he put the bill in for 3 years for an outside, independent, bipartisan investigation, but we need it because what the governor is doing is a joke. One governor, $4.3 million of taxpayers' money, North Carolina, for a company which she could very easily put her hands on the justice system there and say after she got some reviews, and I'm not certain what's happening with that because it's 4 months late. Did she get some information about it, get a copy of it and say, I got to send it back, and I think you got to work on it a little bit more. In other words, as she put her hand on the weights to have an impact on what that says. It's not a bipartisan, outside, independent investigation. It's a company which the governor, nobody else, used taxpayers' dollars to give them $4.3 million. I suspect to do what they've done before. Cover for this governor. Be silent for this governor. You remember Commissioner Bassett, the one that filed with Commissioner Zucker? Boy, I got right to her with a letter and called her office and say, I'd like you to do an investigation of everything that happened with the COVID, the good, the bad, so we can prepare, because we know what the adage is. If you have a tragedy and missteps take place and you don't remember them, history has a tendency to repeat itself. Do you remember what she said, Commissioner Bassett? We're going to go forward, and I'm not going to unravel what took place in the past. You're not going to unravel what took place in the past, but you're going to go forward. How is anybody going forward now after 4 years, and we're at the 4th anniversary of that governor who made that executive order to put people who had that contagious disease in with people who were pretty healthy to begin with, and 15,000 lost their lives. The worst tragedy for our seniors, maybe in the history of New York State. Now we got Commissioner McDonald. Hello. Not a word. Commissioner of Health isn't interested in unraveling what took place with this COVID virus. We do have to unravel. And remember this, and it's been mentioned. He did a masterful PR job. I think he got an Emmy, but he had to give it back, okay? Every week on TV, people getting the virus, people dying. He puts this executive order. Then he writes a book. Oops, sorry. He didn't write the book. His staff wrote the book, and you paid for it, the taxpayers of New York State. Then the Empire Center says, he keeps telling people, even though the AG had some ideas about what the real numbers were, the comptroller had some ideas, the Empire Center took him to court with the justice system. And I was proud to be a friend of the court. And you know what? We won. And the justice said it was 15,000. It wasn't 2 or 3 or 4,000. And you have to pay the legal fees, Governor. You think the governor paid the legal fees? He was indemnified. You paid the legal fees, okay? Because he lied and distorted the truth. And he continues to lie and distort the truth. Then we asked, I did, the presidents of our health committees in the Senate and the Assembly. You have subpoena power. Could you use that subpoena power and bring us all in and ask the real questions, hold their feet to the fire? Silence. They wouldn't do it either, okay? So what do we have here? We have the potential to have another virus around the corner, and we have no answers. What do the answers need to be? What are we going to do about a shortage of nursing homes, a shortage of beds, masks, ventilators? Where are we going to put those seniors who are still contagious that we know we can't put them back into a nursing home? The boats out there in the port, is it still there? They didn't put anybody in there. The Javits Center, how are we going to bring people from all the other areas of New York State to the Javits? We have to have a plan. What's the plan? I don't see it. 4 years, no plan. And I think we owe it to the family members, to the loved ones who lost their life, but to our constituents in the future to say, this is ridiculous. It's obnoxious. You've got to have an outside independent review, because you can't give somebody $4.3 million and not put your hand on the scale and have something to say about what comes back to you. We need the real truth, and we have to get it in a bipartisan way, because this is Democrats and Republicans and every affiliation. It has nothing to do with party or politics.